Are you looking to do deals and master flipping houses? Welcome to the Do Deals Show with our host, Mr. Tim Mai. As a successful investor and mentor to many real estate investors, Tim's students consistently run 6- and 7-figure investing businesses. Each week, you'll hear from top real estate investors who share the best strategies, systems, and secrets that you can use to be more successful. Tim and his guests will pull back the curtain for you to learn their exact tactics, tricks, and tools that are working best right now in today's real estate market. Now, let's welcome Mr. Tim Mai.
Welcome to another Heroes Alliance interview. I'm your host, Tim Mai, and on the line with us today, we have Brad Chandler out of the DC metro area. Brad and his company, they do over 200 deals a year, 200 flips a year. And on this interview, Brad's going to share with us how to run a big multi-million-dollar a year real estate flipping business. Brad, thank you so much, buddy, for being on this interview with me.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Great. All right. Well, let's start with a little bit about you and how you got started in real estate investing.
So I read a book when I was in 9th grade by Robert Allen on how to buy real estate with no money down. And
Yes.
from that point, I knew I wanted to do it. So my college path was a degree in residential property management and real estate. Came out and worked for an apartment REIT, which you kind of were groomed to do in school. Mm-hmm. Wasn't the corporate guy. Wasn't interested in climbing the corporate ladder. So I left there after about 3 years. Got my MBA in real estate. And then I came out and started working for a developer locally here in Springfield, Virginia. And an investor bought my neighbor's house. And I went and talked to him, and he goes, yeah, I buy houses from distressed sellers, fix them up and resell them. I buy them at a discount. And I was like, geez, no one ever taught me you could do that. I mean, I read the book years ago, and I thought you got rich in real estate by putting 20% down, putting a renter in there, and then paying off the property.
Right.
So I was like, wow, that's what I'm going to do. And so that was about December of 2002. I made up my mind I was going to do it. I just had a child that was born, so I was working the full-time job. I'd come home at 6 o'clock, put him to bed at 8. I'd work from 8 to midnight. Every night I'd work on weekends, and it took me 7 long months to find my first deal. Mm-hmm. And in June, I bought my first deal, and then June, July, I bought 6 deals. And then I quit my full-time job in October of 2003. And here we are today. We've probably done, we've done in excess of 2,000 houses since then.
Wow, that's a lot of houses. And I know, it's one thing to do 2,000 houses that you wholesale, but it's a whole new different game to do 2,000 houses that you actually rehab and flip, right? So that's really awesome. So what was that that sort of turning point for you to take 6-7 months to do get your first deal, and then very quickly get your next 6 deals? What was that for you?
So I think that I think I did a lot of things right. What a lot of the gurus don't teach you, they make it sound easy. This is not an easy business. Just like any business, this is a tough business. There's a ton of competitors. There's a ton of new competitors coming into space every day. Plus, the flow of capital now is just insane. So there's more and more people getting into real estate. So I think I was doing a lot of the right things. I had no money. So when I started out, I had a negative $80,000 net worth. I started doing the bandit signs. At the time I started doing the bandit signs, the DC sniper was out. So my partner and I would be at 11 o'clock at night, kiddingly, dodging the sniper, putting up We Buy Houses signs. I was doing handwritten postcards. I was networking. I got my first deal from networking and keeping in touch with the seller and the seller's agent. Obviously, no one else did. It was posted on a listserv at the time, and I was the only person that kept in touch with her. That was one of my first deals that I, made good money on and helped me quit my job. So I think it takes a while to build a business, and I just did a lot of right things, and then they just kind of all came together at once for me. A little bit of smarts, a little bit of luck.
Right. No, that's awesome. So basically your first 6 months is just building your foundation, I guess is a good way to say that, right? And then it just takes that long to start converting those leads into deals.
So I wouldn't say that it was a foundation, because that's one thing that I think people struggle with. They want to go out and get the LLC set up and the name and get everything perfect. Well, I never had the LLC. I was out just trying to get deals. So I wasn't actually building a foundation. What I was doing is I was just constantly networking and marketing.
Ah, gotcha. That's good. That's a very good distinction. Yeah. So let's talk about that, because most investors, even if they, after they do their first deal, do their first 5, 10 deals, right? Most investors stay, especially a flipper, like most of them don't normally go more than 10, 12 deals a year. And you have gone from that first deal all the way to now over 20 deals a year. Share with us, like at what point did you make that switch, or was there ever a plateau that you hit, and then you said, you know what, I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z, and and blow this off? Or what was that whole, I guess, process like in your growth?
So it's 20 deals. You mentioned 20 deals a year. You obviously meant to say 20 deals a month.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant. 20
so
deals
I started out with we had no money, so we started out with the very cheapest thing, the cheapest things possible, and we did our first deal, and then we did a couple deals. And when I started the company, I always had the vision to use TV advertising. My father was a successful attorney who had used successfully TV for years and years and years. And I thought, well, I've never seen a TV commercial about selling your house fast. So as soon as we made a little bit of money, actually when I met my partner and I shared my vision with him, he had a little bit of money, and he goes, I love your vision. I'll give you some money to start the TV advertising. So it was probably in October, it was probably right after I quit my job and started this full time, October, November, that we started advertising. And we probably started with a $5,000 a month budget. And at the time, him and I were doing kind of everything. We were both doing everything. And I came in one day, I go, this makes no sense. I think I read Michael Gerber's E-Myth book. I go, we've got to systematize this. You start handling the construction side of the business and going out and looking at the houses. I'll get all the marketing and sales done. I'll take the calls, set up the appointments and everything. So we had a division of labor. And then from there, it was very clear what his job was. It was very clear what my job was. We bought one house and then 2 houses and then 5 and then 6. And we just built out the team based on who we needed, who was the next hire that would mean the most in our business. So I think one of the first hires was like an admin type person, because you don't want to be doing a lot of $10, $15, $20 an hour stuff when you can be buying houses where you can make a lot of profit. So that was kind of the iteration of it. We grew slowly. We probably didn't grow slowly. We probably grew pretty fast. It was a crazy time. It was 2004. Mm-hmm. The market was insane.
Yeah.
So it probably helped us. It probably bailed us out a couple times because the values were just going up crazy each day.
Right.
So that's it. We just kind of built it, one block at a time.
That's awesome. Okay. So TV was the pretty. Would you say that that's like the big contributor in your growth?
TV was a big contributor. Up until about a year ago, we were probably doing 10 to 12 deals a month. We had tried direct mail and never succeeded with direct mail. And it was probably a year ago that we got together with a data analytics expert who helped us narrow our potential candidates that we were aiming for.
Right.
And that has drastically, we've gone from doing 10 to 12 deals to, I think in April we got 25 or 26 houses under contract.
Nice.
So we're now doing the TV in addition to mailing about 100,000 postcards a month.
Oh wow. Okay. So even a more targeted list, your market, the DC Metro, was big enough for you to mail 100,000 postcards a month.
Yes.
That's good. Good to know that. Okay. And so I used to do TV, and I stopped doing TV when my cost per deal was. I stopped doing TV. I think it was 2005. And when my cost per deal was getting close to $3,000 a deal, when on direct mail I was so used to paying under $1,000 a deal at that time. And however, obviously you continue, doing TV. I guess, see if you can speak into that. So I'm sure a lot of investors, thought the way I thought, which is like, hey, if a cost per deal, if a marketing cost per deal is getting too high, and I have other, lead source that's getting me, deals for less, let me go to other lead source, even though it might not yield me as many deals, but it's costing me less. So can you speak into that kind of mindset around marketing?
So So I think that if you're capital constrained, you've got to do that exercise. You've got to say that I've got a limited amount of capital. Where am I going to best spend my money to get the highest ROI? Fortunately, from us, we've been very fortunate. We've had a lot of lenders, but we have one primary lender, two high net worth brothers that have been with us since the beginning. We've probably borrowed and returned in excess of $250 million from them.
Oh wow!
We've never been capital constrained. So for us, it was sure. Well, direct mail it never was, but let's say it did work for us. Let's say direct mail was $3,000. I'm just making up numbers, but it was $3,000 per deal, and TV was $5,000. Well, we could only get 3 or 4 or 5 deals a month from direct mail. We certainly wouldn't say, well, we're not going to spend the $5,000 per deal and get another 5. Of course we are, but if you're not going to wholesale the properties and you don't have a buyer's list and you are restricted by capital, then you have to do that exercise. So fortunately for us, we looked at it, but we never had to say, well, I'm going to cut TV because it doesn't make sense. It's always made sense to us. We've always seen a return from it.
Gotcha. That's great. Yeah. So and I mean, just like you shared at the beginning of the call, right? You know, when you first started, you start with what you could afford, networking, right? You know, bandit signs, right? Just do, and then growing your sort of your marketing budget from there, and you even tap into, you know, partnering up with people with money, right? With a partner with money to be able to do more marketing. So what is your, like, how much do you allocate for marketing? Do you do it based on like you know, X percentage of your profit automatically goes into your marketing budget, or how do you decide that and how do you calculate that?
We basically just continue to spend up until the point where we start to see diminishing returns, and or we have bottlenecks. Bottlenecks could be construction. Mostly right now it's construction. We're struggling with. We're trying to perfect again. We've gone through some iterations of construction, so we do not look at and say, hey, we've made this much, we're going to put 20%. I mean, I think a lot of corporate America is they spend 20-25%
right
of their revenues on marketing. We don't really do that. We've gotten to a level now that what we have done is we put the brakes on, and about 2 years ago we created a killer follow-up system. So instead of teaching people, I started a meetup group, and the first presentation was how to find deals, and the second presentation was how to find deals. The third presentation was follow-up, and if I could go back and do it again, we're going to do a meetup in another location. The first presentation is going to be on follow-up, because I guarantee you we lost millions of dollars from having a poor follow-up system. So before anyone spends $1 on marketing, get a killer follow-up system. And now in today's age, it's the best time in the world to start and scale a business because technology is so freaking cheap. So you can go out and get Zoho or Sugar CRM or Podio for $50 a month.
Right.
So
okay. So your recommendation is put your follow-up in place. So follow-up in your case would be like autoresponders kind of follow-ups?
Autoresponders, yeah, email, text, and phone calls.
Okay.
We even go so far that we call back missed calls. So last year we did 8 purchases, 8 deals off of missed phone calls. So we have a team of like 8 VAs that call people, call back missed phone calls. So yeah, I mean, if I could start all over again, knowing what I know now, or if I had to, mentor someone, that'd be the first thing I would tell them is learn how to value a property, learn the sales techniques of how to talk to people. But before you spend your first dollar to get your first lead in, you ought to have a follow-up system that you feel comfortable saying to anyone, this follow-up system is freaking amazing. And then you never let go of those people. I mean, we closed a deal last week that the lead came in 7 years ago.
Whoa!
The first time they called us was 7 years ago.
Wow.
So,
that's incredible. That's awesome. That's a good follow-up system there.
But it's great now, but 5 years ago, I can't even tell you how many deals we probably lost because we were terrible at follow-up.
Right. That's definitely a great lesson. So besides TV and direct mail, is there any other marketing that you're currently doing?
We're pretty big online. We do a lot of pay-per-click. We do a lot of retargeting. We're starting to do Facebook, although we've had a real struggle with it. And then we've done SEO for years, search engine optimization, which is the organic search results. Gotcha.
Okay. And so to do 200 deals, 200 plus deals a year. What does the marketing like? What does your marketing budget look like for that many deals?
We're not far from $2 million a year.
Wow. That's incredible. Yeah, most people would love to make $2 million a year. You're like just spending that much in marketing alone. That's awesome. And what what business systems or structure does it take to support a business like that, like yours?
So, it always comes down to people. You can have the greatest systems, but if the people aren't great, it's not going to work. So we really focus on getting good people. We have a hiring system, a really intricate selection process and interview process. So it starts with the people, and then we've probably got 60, 70, 80% of our business completely documented. So if my office manager I had a meeting with her this morning, I go, if you were to quit today and we were to hire someone on Monday, would they be able to come in and do your job? And she said, absolutely. I've got everything documented.
Nice.
Like how to answer the phone, how to, the passwords, how to fill out a HUD-1 or look at a HUD-1. I mean, just everything is systematized and written down, documented. I say everything, 60 to 80% of everything. It's a constant process. We're continuing to work on it and change and improve things.
That's awesome. So how many people are on your like staff, your core team?
So if you count the 8 VAs that we have, we're just about at 30 people.
30 people. Okay. And so like I assume your construction crew are also on staff as well. You don't just no?
No, I don't have any construction people on staff. I've got kind of someone who's probably spends half of their time devoted to looking at construction and stuff. I am in the process of looking for a construction manager, someone who is a high-level person who can help us get our construction operations humming like a well-oiled machine, and then also has a skill set to possibly help us expand regionally and nationally.
Oh, nice.
So someone ideally would be, someone who's renovated, thousands of houses and has a lot of experience in the construction industry.
Right. Okay. So right now on your constructions, do you outsource to like several construction companies or one mainly or what?
One mainly now.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Cool. All right. So 30 staff. So how many people do you have just like doing acquisitions?
That's probably our biggest bucket of people. We probably have about 7 people in acquisitions.
Okay.
And then you got to add in the 8 people in the eight VAs that also support acquisitions.
Right. Okay. So 7 acquisitions. So about 3, I guess, 3 deals per acquisition person per month, kind of.
Sure.
Okay, gotcha. And what do you mind sharing? Like, what are your sort of? Do you pay them straight commission? Do they get some salary, some commission? How does that work?
None of them are straight commission. They're all bonus. They're all salaried plus a bonus component.
Oh, okay. Is it bonus per deal?
It is. It is based on the profitability of the deal.
Gotcha. Okay. And when you hiring acquisition people, do you hire people who have experience in real estate or real estate agents, or what kind of people are you looking for that role?
So the answer is both, or all of the above. We've hired a couple. 2 new guys, or three people in acquisitions recently, 4 people in acquisitions. I think 2 of them had real estate experience, 2 of them didn't.
Okay.
And the one that didn't have real estate experience is crushing it.
Oh wow. Okay.
So
now, what kind of experience did they have?
They had sales experience, so they were working with a structured settlement company. Was one of their experiences. They worked for a car dealership as well.
Nice. Okay.
So just sales. Like he's an awesome salesperson.
Right. That's great. Yeah. So like if you were to, I guess as you continue to grow, like let's say if you go to a new market, right? So who would you advertise to find those acquisition people? Would you focus specifically on like professional salespeople like that?
After this most recent hire, yeah, I think we'd focus on either. So one of the new guys who's really good too is a realtor.
Okay.
And a lot of realtors are really good at what they do, but they're really poor at getting the business. So that's what I would do. I'd focus on realtors and I'd focus on professional salespeople and just look at people who you always want to look at past accomplishments. What have they accomplished? Because if they haven't accomplished much since you've talked with them or in their life, it's unlikely that with you they're going to accomplish much. So focus a lot on what they've accomplished And attitude is everything. Just what's their attitude like? Are they positive? Are they upbeat? Do they like talking to people?
Right.
We do a lot of behavioral testing.
Mm-hmm.
People don't do behavioral testing. I think it's silly. It's a lot of times it's free and you can learn a ton about the person.
Right. That's awesome. And so let's talk about, your mindset going into your business, I guess, to begin with. Did you have a grand vision that, hey, we're going to, do a lot of deals and eventually we're going to grow nationwide? Or did you came in to say, hey, I'm just going to do whatever 10 deals a year, and then, your sort of, as your business grew, your vision grew? Or how did that work for you?
From day one, I always wanted to build a large national company that would sustain, long past, when I'm off the earth. So it was a vision of mine from day one.
Oh, wow. Okay.
If you're going to do something, you might as well do it big.
Yeah. Well, okay. So you came in, planted big. Like, was there sort of a why behind wanting to go, that big, or?
Not really. not really. And that, I still struggle with that part of my life in the business is figuring out my why.
Right.
I think it is to help, actually to help children.
Mm-hmm.
To help children who are in bad situations, but candidly, I haven't done a whole lot with that.
Gotcha.
But
Okay.
that is my plan.
Gotcha. Well, you know what? I'm working closely with a nonprofit organization called Cherish Our Children, where basically they help children all around the world. But they have a chapter here in Houston that works with children that the parents are in jail or in penitentiary. They have classes within the high school to help them and stuff. So I might reach out to talk to you more about that.
That'd be great. It sounds awesome.
When I'm doing a fundraising, event or something. So yeah. I mean, I noticed like some of the interviews that I do. When I ask that question, the entrepreneur just said, well, why not? Right? Instead of asking like why, it's like, why not? I could do it. So
yeah,
let's just do it. So that does happen sometimes. And so what was it like for you in the market crash of '08? Right? Like, how did you navigate through that whole process? Because a lot of people, doing the kind of volume you were doing, like, folded because of that. So how did you navigate through that?
So we never lost our source of capital because we always treated them well. We borrowed in return in excess of $300 million. We went through the worst real estate downturn in the history of real estate, and our investors have never lost one penny. So that was number one. A lot of people crashed because their source of capital was pulled from them. So we always had our source of capital. It's a little complicated because in 2008 we started a Keller Williams team, and in 2008 to 2010, in those 2 years, we became the number one Keller Williams team in North America.
Oh wow!
And we had at that point like 75 employees and agents.
Oh,
and
wow.
then 2010, like August, the tax credit went away, and that severely hurt the market.
Right.
And we did an analysis, and we figured out that we weren't making a whole lot of money in the realty business. So we divested of that. My partner bought it, and we went back to focusing on home buying. I think in February of 2010, we bought 24 properties, REO properties, listed on the multiple listing service. So there was a lot more deals to be had. However, it depends where you're talking about in that, starting in 2007, the prices really started to decline. So it was a real challenge when you're having, massive price drops. We started to underwrite. We'd look at the actives in the sold, and let's say that we thought the ARV, the after repair value, was $300,000. We'd actually underwrite it at 280 or 285, knowing that by the time that we went to sell the property, there's a good chance that the property value would have dropped.
That's smart.
So we obviously did okay, and bought a lot of houses.
That's awesome. Yeah. So you were positioned well, and then had all the private lenders, I guess, in place, to be able to take advantage of the market and
Right.
what REO. So that's great. Do you have any tip for the viewers around how to raise and keep these, how to find private money and keep the money working and keeping them returning?
So it's different. It's really different now than it was when I started because the access to capital is just like tenfold. There's the lending ones of the world. They're national hard money lenders who actually give pretty good rates. So that would be it. I would go out and make relationships with some of these either local or large national hard money lenders to start with. And then from there, once you have a track record, then go do either a private placement, a fund, which we've done, or just go to the local people that network, doctors, lawyers, people who are high net worth, and just say, hey, listen, we'll give you security on this property that we're buying at a discount to market, and we'll pay you a good interest rate. And a lot of people don't know what to do with their money. I mean, the stock market obviously is at an all-time high, but it could be a whole different story 6 months from now.
Right.
You could put in $20,000 stock market, and guess what? In 6 months, it could be zero. You'll never put in $20,000 into real estate, and it will be zero. Never. It won't ever go to zero. But the stocks can go to zero.
Gotcha. That's awesome. So we have a question that we'd like to ask all of our entrepreneurs that we interview. To me, like, all entrepreneurs are heroes, right? Because of the commitment that we offer our family, our clients, our staff. Do you see yourself as a hero?
I see myself as a hero in that respect. I don't see myself as a true hero. We employ 30 people. We help them feed their families. We started a couple months ago it's called Express Home Buyers Wholesaling Meetup, and we meet every month, and it's completely free. In 3 months, we've gotten, I think, close to 800 members.
Nice.
And we teach them completely free. The people who show up to the meetup group get invited to a private Facebook group, and any questions that they have, they can ask me. And if I was consulting, or if I would charge, I don't know what I would charge, $500 an hour, $600, $700. I don't charge them anything. So it's to give back to the community, and it's also to teach them how to get deals so they can bring them to us. And people have just had fantastic reviews about it. We're not trying to sell them anything, which is really refreshing. At the end of the thing, we're not trying to get their credit card line increased and sell them anything. So I think they really appreciate that, and we give them really good quality content. Like, we tell them what we're doing to be successful.
That is so awesome. That's phenomenal. And are you have you start getting good amount of deals from that yet?
Just like anything, when you start out, it's tougher but we have definitely gotten. We wish it was more, but we're doing well. Yeah.
That's.
And we're right now we're based in Springfield, and so our market is so large that it would take some people 2 hours to get here in traffic because we hold them at like 6 o'clock on a Monday or Tuesday night. So I think we're going to experiment doing them on the other side of the Beltway, which I think will draw a lot different people, and maybe we'll just have to do 2 a month.
Gotcha. Sounds good. Yeah, I'm very familiar with that model, and I love that model. Like, the fulfillments that I get from it is amazing. And of course, the deals don't hurt either.
Yeah. And we've got. I've had a couple of my associates help out, and they just love getting it. Last night they were doing a bunch of role playing, and they just loved it. They love being up there. The people in the audience loved it, so it's a lot of fun.
That's phenomenal. Awesome. So I'm sure the viewers will want to get in contact with you or learn more about your business. Where do you want to send them?
So I'm looking up because I don't know the URL. I'm going to share with you a URL that I have some really awesome articles on how to wholesale, how to find deals.
Perfect.
Let me just let me pull it up. I don't know off the top of my head. So expresshomebuyers.com is our website.
Okay.
And I think it's Express Home Buyers /wholesalers or wholesaling. I'm sorry, I'm trying to find it right now.
Okay, not a problem. And when they go to expresshomebuyers.com, will they be able to also see your TV ads as well?
So we have a YouTube channel.
Oh, okay.
Search and please subscribe to it as well, because we'll start putting some good content out there. Express Home Buyers, I think it's YouTube /Express Home Buyers.
Okay.
So I can't, you know what? I know one other thing I can try. If I can't find it in 2 seconds, what we'll just do, we'll just put them in the notes. Is that okay?
Yep, sounds good.
Okay, here we go. This should be it. Nope, I can't find it. I'm sorry. We'll put that in the show notes.
Yeah. Well, I went to expresshomebuyers.com /wholesaling, and I do see an article that says, "Is wholesaling legal?" Part 3.
Yeah. So what we're looking for is we actually have a wholesaling blog.
Okay.
That has a lot. I think we've written 20 or so that has a ton of great information on it.
Okay, so and then I click on category. So if they go to expresshomebuyers.com forward slash category forward slash wholesalers, then I see a lot of different
Okay, I think you got it. Yeah,
Okay.
it's forward slash categories and then wholesalers.
Yeah.
Okay, how the heck did you find that so fast?
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, neuromarketing for real estate wholesalers. You can reinvent yourself with real estate wholesaling. The Real Deal Meetup, Periscope interview. That's all. Cool.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
it. And then if you go down, there's one of the top two of the best articles we wrote was how to find motivated sellers on a champagne or beer budget. Definitely should read that, and then follow-up system. I think we have a blog on follow-up systems.
That's perfect.
We have a lot of great content on there.
Right. That's cool. Yeah. So definitely. So you guys go check it out. So Brad, thank you so much, buddy, for this awesome interview. I really appreciate you. I mean, I think that you're gonna grow to be like the biggest real estate investing company in in America, if not in the world. So really great job. Thank you so much for everything you've shared with us today.
Thank you, Tim. Great seeing you.
All right. Happy investing, everybody. See ya.
And that's our show for today. If you have any questions or would like to get further training from Tim Mai, please visit our website at www.dodeals.com/Tim.